Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lizard Brains podcast. I'm your host, DJ Allison Drini. I'm joined by my co-host, Tom O'Gorman. Tom, how's it going?
I'm good. What were you driving behind you?
Oh, that's
what cockpit are you sitting in back there?
That's a Porsche Cup at Sebring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, getting data for people.
The work never stops.
It's
Do you see the mess behind me? I just noticed your screen because Danny was complimenting how how crazy it looks.
It does kind of look crazy. No, not really. I see a Solo National Championship jacket. You know what, Tom? I brought my Solo National Championship jacket. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at you setting up all the sim stuff, huh?
Yeah. Oh, wait, tell me your jacket story first.
I brought it to the track. I couldn't bring myself to put it on. I was too embarrassed.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I'll get over it. You know what? I think the only time I'm ever going to wear this thing is at Solo Nationals. I don't know if I could put it on.
My vow is to only wear it when it's cold enough to merit wearing a jacket.
It was cold enough.
Like, I'll wear it proudly when it's cold enough. That's fine. That's great.
Okay.
It does feel a little funny to wear it at the track because I think people are probably like, autocrosser, if they know what
Exactly.
it is. There's a little bit of that, but I wear it proudly when it's cold enough.
Yeah. Well,
you should.
No, hold on. They used to give out jackets that were warm. This is like a windbreaker. It's not like a jacket.
Are the new? I don't have mine yet. Are the new ones not?
Yeah,
they're not like fleece lined or anything.
Honestly, it seems kind of cheap. I'm a little bummed.
Really?
Yeah.
They were always Port. Is it Port Authority? All the ones that I have are Port Authority, and they're all at least a little bit of like fleece lining, like minimum of like this sweatshirt material, not like jersey t-shirt
like,
or not windbreaker.
Think about like if you went to SEMA and like a company was doing like giveaway windbreakers. That's what this is like.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It's not great. But like I will wear it at Nationals.
You know why?
In the morning if it's cold. But if it's not at Nationals and it's not cold, then I can't wear it and it's just going to live in the back of my Mazda 3. So
I wonder if anybody else listening to this with a first time only national championship jacket, like yours is your first one.
Yep.
I remember being a lot more self-conscious of that one then too. I don't know how this is coming off, but like the later ones are the ones that I wear more proud. Like those, and I had them like customized, and I remember them more fondly and whatever. But
yeah. I don't know what it was.
The first one is almost like picture frame worthy instead of trying to wear it around.
Yeah, maybe. Well, right now it's just getting wrinkly, just like because I shoved it in a bag and then it just got shoved in like the corner of the back seat of the Mazda, and then so it's just kind of it's getting run through the ringer. It's getting ran through the normal regiment that DJ's clothes go through before he actually wears them.
Yeah.
Which just means they're crammed in corners and never folded. Oh no!
My audio just reset too.
Yeah. Okay. You're back. Yeah. You're back. Cool. I thought I lost you.
Mine did something weird that time.
This is take 2, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties today. So yeah, I made a mess all weekend. I kind of wanted to get this out of my system because I got to complain a little bit about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have been sitting on this sim rig. If you missed it, we were offered some sim equipment from Logitech and SCCA to do some tests and reviews, essentially, that will become an article. So I don't want to do a review of the equipment because that's not fair. I want the article to be able to come out. But what is it about? I was in a absolutely foul mood putting this stuff together, and I don't know what it is about
tinkering, or
I don't know if it's
tools.
nuts and bolts or if it's trying to follow instructions, but it's not like Lego instructions. The first one, the one that killed me, honestly, and put me in a bad mood was the monitor stand, because the monitor doesn't have a place to go on this sim rig. So you have to set it up on a separate stand, which you sent me what I needed and got that shipped. And it shows up with no instructions, nothing labeled, nothing tells you what it is. And it just starts rattling off what I was described to by our chat at the time as McMaster level instructions, which I guess is like
you didn't get you didn't get like an email with like a little PDF on it or anything?
Not that I know of. If maybe I didn't go, I found it on their website. But anyway, even with the instructions, it's like take the 4080 gusset bracket and put it next to with the T-bolts and into the second slot when looking at it from the left on Tuesday.
What do you think this is? IKEA? Come on, you got to Google that stuff.
No, I need it to tell me how to put it together. And then as I get it all together, I finally learn all the stuff and get it together correctly. And it turns out that the monitor bracket where it would mount to the thing doesn't fit my monitor without like getting its separate hardware. So I have to figure all that stuff out. and I have to take little breaks because I'm pissed and I feel like an idiot and I'm mad at the company for I think it's a bad company and it's a bad product. I almost left them a 1-star review. I was so mad and then I deleted it. And all this to say, it's kind of funny that I struggle with this stuff, haha, whatever. And I made YouTube videos about it. But what is it about that puts me in such a bad mood?
How did you end
Versus,
up?
I was thinking,
Go
I
ahead.
took a little break while I was assembling all this stuff to go help my mom make dinner, and I followed the recipes easily, and I freeballed, and I not freeballed, improved, you know, and I freeballed. That was the wrong word. I improved, and I knew it. Like when it says saute or when it says dice, or I'm like, I know it, and it doesn't piss me off. Why is it that this stuff, of all the things, because it could be useful in my life, but it puts me in the foulest mood?
I don't know.
Is there anything like that for you?
Is
Is
it
there
like,
anything you're like, I don't want to do that? I'm going to be absolutely mad by the time I'm done?
is it like attacking your like self-worth in like a weird way?
Maybe. I just feel dumb and annoyed the whole time. So then I got the anyway, I got that annoyed.
Hold on.
I was that
I
annoyed.
have to know how you solved one of the problems, because the problem that you ran
Okay.
into where like the VESA mount on the monitor is like recessed into the monitor.
The what?
VESA mount. That's how the monitor stand and the monitor like connect to each other. That's like it's
News
just
to
called,
me.
it's
Okay.
VESA. It's just VESA mount. It's just like, it's what your TV, like if you wanted to mount the TV to the rig, you could. Like it's a standard. So it's that square,
But
it's the
this is
four
part of the
bolts.
problem. Then why do I have to know what that is? And you just say the words, and because the instructions, not you right now. I learned what that is separately, but you know, like, why did it just use the word gusset and not label what that is? What is VESO? Why did it
So
just tell me it's
do
the
you
mount
remember
on the screen? It
last
makes me mad.
episode? You remember last episode I was saying it takes like a special person to like get good at sim racing, and because like the setup of your rig is like part of getting good at the thing. So
Kind
like,
of. Okay, so let me get. I'll move past the complaining.
okay,
So I
hold
get
on.
it all set up. What?
I just need to know, because the VESA mount is recessed into the monitor to the point where like the plastic is in the way of like the plate that you're trying to mount to like the 4 bolt holes on your monitor. I ran into that on the monitor above my rig, and I just went out to the garage and took a grinder and shaved off metal until it would fit into like the little hole that the monitor gave me, because it was recessed into the monitor. So I shaved off part of the VESA mount so it would fit into the thing so I could bolt the 4 bolts in. What did you do to fix it? Because you eventually got it hooked up, but like there's different solutions to the same problem.
I asked my dad for some advice, and he pulled out a caliper tool and measured the depth of the hole, and then we measured all the way out to where the bracket would meet, and then I went to the hardware store and I bought screws that long.
Oh, so you don't have a spacer or anything in there. It's just the screws are just like clamping the back of the.
Yep.
Okay, I mean that works. It's not like it needs to be like rigid. It's not like it's a motion rig or anything like
Right.
that. It literally just needs to hold the monitor in a place, and it's not like that's
Yeah.
all it needs to do. So
Yeah, simple solution that I was like, but
it's annoying.
I have to. It's using all these words I don't know. It's using all these instructions that don't make any sense. I have to make a hardware store run. I have to have a caliper tool special to measure that, to make that solution up. Why is this not like a cut? Like, why is it? Okay. So
Maybe
let me
I
get to
could
my
have
actual
warned
point.
you.
I'm gonna move past the complaining. Is that I think there are people. Maybe I hope there are people who relate to me with this that don't like tinkering. Like, I'm not interested in tinkering. I don't care about how it works. I'm an iPhone person. I want it to just work. It should be logical, and just like the packaging should make sense. You're an Android person and you're a tinkerer. And I think those two are like very closely correlated in that, like, you like to customize, you like
I'm
to
like
identify, like, I
I'm like
could streamline
3%.
this, I could fix this.
I'm like 3% tinkerer. You're 0% tinkerer.
Right. And there are
Yeah.
people, sure, that
Yeah,
are
yeah,
that
yeah.
are further than you. I think, to your point, sim racing, you don't have to know the rig, and um you don't have to go through this specifically. But if you're not a tinkerer, or if you're not somebody willing to like piece all the things together, sim racing is exponentially more difficult, and motorsports probably to an extent
Yeah,
is
definitely.
exponentially more difficult to be a part of because of the equipment around it.
Yep.
And I was realizing that in the post processing, like, why does that make me so mad? Because it makes me do this thing that I don't care or like to do. Like, I didn't even set okay, so I set the whole rig up. It's a play seat with Logitech stuff. It's a direct drive wheel, load cell pedals, they sent a handbrake and a shifter, and I was so over it. I didn't even set them up. I just have the paddles and the.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did put
Wait, you got a
the clutch
shifter?
pedal
I
on.
didn't get a shifter. I got a sequential shifter, but like I might as well just use the buttons on the wheel. Like, what's the point
Yeah,
of
was it the
the?
handbrake shifter combo? That's
Yeah,
just
like I'm like,
sequential
what
or
am I get?
handbrake.
What am I get? I'm just gonna use the paddles. I
Yeah,
don't need this thing.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't even set that up because it's like this is good enough. So that's kind of the root of the whole thing that I came to is like I would rather it just be good enough. Honestly, I'm like not happy. I don't like the rig better enough to like have gone through all of that. I think my rig was totally fine. I'll say I just kind of got it to the point where I'm just going to try to get used to it now because it's good enough. But I think if you have that in your bones that you're going to tinker with it or you're going to let it, it's you you're going to have to do that either way. So if you're not if you're not predisposed to doing it, it's just going to be annoying.
Yeah.
That's the
No, I
conclusion I
totally get
came to.
that. I could have given you a little bit of a warning where anytime you're doing anything with like the sim rig or like if you got new pedals or a new this or that, you're probably going to have to go to the hardware store. Where it gets annoying is when you can't get the thing that you need at the hardware store because it's some like Alumastrut like specialty thing and and you don't know what like and you can't buy the thing. But then also because there's an Imperial Alumastrut stuff and then there's metric
Right.
Alumastrut stuff. So then you like the rig I'm gonna give you, the like nice sturdy rig with like infinite adjustment, that's all Imperial stuff. So when you eventually order T-nuts and whatever from a caster car, you'll need Imperial, so not metric stuff.
I'm already out. I don't want adjustment. I don't want tinkering. I don't want like
No, 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 no.
customization.
That's fine.
Just I want
I'm
it to
gonna
just
set it up.
come out of the box and be fine.
I'm coming over to your house and I'm setting it all up. And then everything will be good. The only thing we need to figure out is how to get a seat on the rig that's taking up my gym right now.
What about a 1997 Honda Civic passenger seat?
That might work. I might have to like screw some holes
got
and
one right
stuff in
there.
it. Yeah. Yeah, but I might have to like mess with it to get it to bolt to the thing.
But why is the rig being good enough not okay?
Because it can always be
Because
better.
honestly, it's because right. Okay, so all of this that I have concluded is that your sim rig doesn't matter if it's good enough.
Mhm.
Stop thinking about it.
Mhm.
Stop moving the variables and drive it and get used to it. Because that's all all I'm going to try to do with this new one is not think about it for a week. I got it close enough. I'm not changing my field of vision anymore. I'm not changing my force feedback anymore. Like dampening and all. I'm just going to get used to what I have and try to get back in the rhythm of it because
Are you slower right now?
I only raced with people once and I would say I was slower. Diego was racing. I was slower than him than I would normally be, I think.
Okay.
But then I did race with him competitively and he kind of waited a little too long in TCR cars and he couldn't pass me in the end.
Okay.
So I won. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably within the noise. It's basically like the same output of performance, but I'm thinking about what's happening constantly
Yeah.
because I'm just trying to get used to it.
We're going to need you to set up your old rig and get the A test so we can do an ABA. So
I did want to do that, and then I realized there's no way.
Because that would have been actually pretty cool.
It wouldn't take that long. So it's sitting in my corner here off to my left.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would just be running the cables again and then dismounting the TV from the monitor stand and putting the stand back on, which I dropped on my head because it was on my bed and I was setting stuff up on the floor and the monitor stand that it used to be sitting on fell on my head behind my ear and like gouged the back of my ear open.
You could hurt yourself.
I was in a horrible, it was a bad day.
Oh my God.
It was not my favorite day.
I'm glad I
I have
wasn't
not been
around,
that mad
Tom.
since I was working on my BRZ. And that's why I don't work
so
on my BRZ
sorry.
anymore.
I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. This is
But
why
I think this is more important for people to know when they get into sim racing than like the sim racing itself.
Well, this might be why
if you're not conducive to this stuff, it's going to be freaking awful, I think.
I never get why these like plug and play sim rigs or whatever. I'll look at it and it's like that is $5,000 worth of equipment and they'll be selling it for 15 grand. And I'm like, who's buying these things?
Yeah, huh.
It's the people that have 15 grand and they don't want to mess with it.
Well, yeah, because I would hope with that it comes with someone to come set it up.
Oh yeah, no, somebody comes and sets it up and they get you fitted into the rig and they make all the little adjustments and they get all the settings all set and then they'll even offer like technical support. Like if you're like, I don't know, my screen won't full screen, like what's going on with that? And then like they'll help you and
Yeah, but that's the equivalent of hiring a professional coach from your second track day ever on versus like being an autocrosser. Like we're autocrossers when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Financially, we got to like scrap it together and make it work and learn when we can and
Right.
all that.
Well, I mean, we both started with like a wheel like mounted to the desk. It's just you got to your like you're good enough for the rig, and my good enough just like kept moving, and that's why
Right.
I ended up with what I have. So, it's also like I get so much out of sim racing that it's just like getting newer and better stuff. It's just kind of fun
Sure.
to me at
But I
least.
remember I think that's just how our brain, that's how we are, like our personalities are
Yeah.
that way. Cause I remember you saying all the time, there was something about maybe Amazon was down or whatever was happening. You're like, I order so much on Amazon and I don't know. And I'm like, what are you buying on Amazon? You're just like, I don't know, like chargers and cables and like stuff I need and things.
Oh
And
yeah.
like, what are you buying?
Well, it's just okay.
You're
For instance, at the racetrack this weekend,
yeah.
Dave said I could say who it was. I was driving Dave Marcus's ZR1. It was supposed to be a secret, but then I took a picture of the tablet and his face was in like reflected on the tablet, and the whole Discord's like, "Yep, that's Dave Marcus." So it's like, okay, well, shit, cat's out of the bag.
To be fair, you didn't blow the secret because Salil told me before he told.
How did Salil find out? Dave was trying to
Salil
keep it a
told me
secret.
before you told me you were going to drive the car, so I already knew who it was when you told me. But
well, I didn't tell you. I didn't tell
Salil's not even on the internet, so
you guessed it, and
somehow.
I sat there going like, no. Anyways, so we were having issues with the Garmin, recording the video, and Dave had this like must have been like a 20-year-old cord, and it was giving us issues, and I'm like, why don't you just order a cord right now? Just like go on Amazon and just order the cord, so it's like at your house. And Dave's like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I should do that. I don't even think he did it. I think he got distracted before he ordered the cord, so he's gonna keep having this broken cord. But look, I get like the ethical reasons of like I'm not gonna buy anything from Amazon or whatever. Whatever, I get it. I totally get it. Christine's in that boat, and I wish I could be in that boat. But the problem is like to me, it's like, oh, I need that thing. Okay, cool. And I pull out my phone and I click a couple buttons, and then in like 2 days, or maybe even next day, or sometimes even same day, that thing that I determined I needed and I wish I had in that moment shows up. And a lot of the time, it's cords and wires and like chargers and like random trinkets like that. Because honestly, I just don't even know where to go to buy that stuff. What am I going to do? Run up to the gas station and get a cord that will last like 3 phone plugs? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get a quality cord from, like, where would I buy a quality USB-C cord?
My phone came with one, so I used that one.
I've seen your quality USB-C cord, Tom. It's like fraying on the edges of it.
Yeah, it is. But I got it and it works.
Yep, it works.
See?
Most of the time, sometimes. Yep. So,
the fun part with that, when you live that kind of life, is figuring out if the cord's broken or if the phone charger port's broken. Do you need a new cord or a new phone?
I don't have to figure that out. I'll just go grab a different cord.
I know. I'm living life on the edge.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell me more about the weekend, because I got my stuff out of the system. I'll give it more. I mean, if you're in the Discord, I'm going to be sending like some updates of learning this new equipment and sharing about it. But I want to be fair to we have it because of an article, so
yeah,
it's not going to be extensive. And after, then we'll talk about it then. Did you ever set your sim rig up?
I set the sim rig up, but it was, you remember the floppy flop video that it was a foldable rig, which I will never, nobody should ever buy a foldable rig, because there's not a single person on this planet that is consistently unfolding their rig, setting it all up, doing some quality racing, and then they fold it up and then put it back in the closet. That person doesn't exist. The people buying these foldable rigs are people who think they're going to do that, and then it either gets put in the closet and then never touched again, or they have it unfolded and they never fold it up. So now they just have a crappy sim rig.
Right.
So don't
I think
buy
for the people
foldable.
who they think you need a sim rig because that's quote unquote better than bolting it to a desk, which it's not. We've talked about that. It's not. And they can't afford a rig, so they're like, well, that's the cheapest one.
They're not even that cheap.
It happens to be foldable.
The one that I got sent is like $400 something.
That's cheaper. What did I get?
Well, that's like $600, but you could get a better rig.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
there are a lot of people who would be like $150 is a lot of money. I'm going to save it and I'm going to buy this rig. They shouldn't, But I
There's
think that's who it's for.
there's plenty of perfectly acceptable sim rigs for 400 something dollars.
Yeah.
So, and
I'm
you
telling
know
you, man,
what?
that's why
They're not like maybe they kind of suck at marketing, so people don't know they exist. The thing with sim racing is that it's like endlessly like there's so much noise and misinformation and just marketing BS and people trying to get into the hobby are on the leading edge of the Dunning-Kruger curve and they don't know what they don't know. Like there's no way to cut through all the noise.
like that Corvette guy from Chuckwalla thinking his brake pad's being low. That's
Yeah.
why he understeered off the track and got a flat tire.
Yeah,
Yes, you're correct.
there was a
Those are the
there was a clip
100%.
posted in a different Discord that had this guy. Dude, what about the when you're like understeering off the racetrack, so you turn the wheel literally 270 degrees until like you're just off the track? Like the
Yeah.
first extra 90 degrees wasn't gonna do it, so you just gotta go like all the way over.
That's the Dunning-Kruger person.
Yep. So
But it was a Corvette, and I still haven't heard about a Corvette yet.
okay.
That was
So this weekend I went to VIR to drive with Dave in his new ZR1. And the goal was just to learn as much about the car and just like our driving together. And
not to get the highest top speed possible.
I mean,
That wasn't your goal.
that was a sub
Sorry, go
goal.
ahead.
That was a sub goal. And I mean, obviously, that is the fastest car I've ever driven. It was it from turn in to apex. It felt like any other car you've ever driven, Tom. Even like the initial throttle press on exit felt like every other car. It was like when the car finally like settled in and you could just like let the turbos whoosh up and just teleport you to the next braking zone. That was like the biggest difference. I was blown away by how hard it accelerated. The last time I was in a car that accelerated this hard was a Tesla, but those top out and then they like peter out very quickly. This car just kept pulling. Or my dad used to have like a 10-second drag car. And this car is technically faster than that because it does a 9.2 second quarter mile. So like think about that. Like it is a drag car, like full on. You feel like the skin on your face moving. You feel all your insides kind of like whoosh to the back of your body every single time you're accelerating away from the corner. It's kind of wild. It was actually bonkers how fast this car was. But then you would, just the same as what you normally do, you set references and the brakes were phenomenal on the car. Like I think the proper brake marker on the back straight, one time I broke at the 3, but I think that was a little too late because I kind of had the straight line to the inside curbing of the right hander and roller coaster. I couldn't like open it up at all. I think it was like the 3.5. So I would say most of the weekend I was doing the 4. It turns out when you're driving at like earth at like 180 some miles an hour, that last half of brake marker is really tough. So
sure.
And the reason why is it's not like my first session, it was like a fear thing because it was just like, oh, I broke. Shit, I shouldn't have broke. Like, okay, next lap, right? And it's like, oh, well, the tire's a little greasier. I should brake a little. Oh, crap, I broke at the 4 again, right? Like that was the first session.
Yeah.
But what actually made it tough is that a half a brake marker is the timing of it is pretty tough when you're going 188 miles an hour. Like the like it was like less than it was like 0.2 of a second difference of like where that ends up. So
this to me is where left foot braking kind of comes in because there are cars where you're either traveling so fast or the input can happen at such an extreme level. Like a manual brake TCR car, for example, comes to mind. It's manual brakes with motorsports ABS. It's basically bulletproof. And the faster you can get to peak brake pressure, the car can do it.
Yep.
So you left foot brake to speed that process up. The same way if you're doing 188 miles an hour, if your foot's already there, you can be more precise.
Yeah.
When I found out recently in some of the Daytona 24-hour press that there are a handful of right foot brake GTP drivers
Whoa, what?
like top tier. Like, yeah, I'm like,
Well,
that's a big
there's
surprise,
like
but it's
fuel
what you're used
save
to.
in
That's still fine, I
between.
think.
Yeah, there's like fuel save in between and stuff. Also, like when you're going
But
that,
either way, I think, yeah,
yeah, when you're
that's a
going
tough
that
problem to solve.
fast, when you're going that fast, a little bit of a lift right before the brake zone is really, it is not affecting the lap time all that much. You know what I mean? So,
Yes and no,
but think
kind of,
think
because
about
you're
an endurance race. You're normally doing some lifting, coasting, anyways. So,
sure in a longer setting. I see
yeah,
what you mean, but I'm saying if they are in a full push attack situation like you were in the C8
yeah, C8 ZR1.
ZR1,
Yep.
uh, if they have that anyway, the amount of time that they might lose in that transition versus somebody who's just bang there, their variable is just going to be bigger because they're traveling so fast. Maybe more of a situation with the streetcar too, because it can't do everything as quickly. I don't know.
No,
I got a little. I lost the
could
plot a little bit,
it
but
could
I'm
do it.
saying it's difficult.
No, dude, I could go immediately. So I was left foot braking. I just feel more
Oh,
stability.
you were?
Yeah, I feel more stability in a car when I'm left foot braking. I just feel like I
Okay.
have more control over exactly where the weight is and how it transitions from like the front to the side to the rear of the car. Like it just, and you know, it's like the thousands of hours I've done in sim racing. Um, that's just like that is 100% my just like baseline muscle memory. If I can left foot brake a car, great. Now, oddly enough, I feel like it's kind of awkward to left foot brake a car in autocross, but on the track it feels completely normal.
Interesting.
Maybe it's
I
because
want to
I'm
come back
never really
to
in
the
a
weekend, but
harness. Yeah, maybe it's because
I
I'm never in a
only
harness on autocross.
yeah, I was gonna. So I only right foot brake street cars, whether it's a two or three pedal car, and I only left foot brake manual brake cars like like TCR, GT4, GT3. Every time I've driven those, I left foot brake,
Yeah.
and I do both independently of each other. Like when I drove the C8 Z06, right foot braking.
Mhm.
So I don't know why I do that. I left foot brake in the sim, but you left foot brake on the track like when you drive a BRZ on track.
If I don't have to downshift for the corner, I will.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think there's a right answer for any of this either. It's
No,
whatever
I
you're
don't.
used to
Yeah, I
and good
don't.
at.
I mean, people make speed in different ways. It's just I feel like the pivot I can get on entry and then like catching it with the throttle. I just feel like I'm more in more control with like my feet like sitting like right next to the pedals, ready to do anything. And it's probably just like a yeah. You can't see it. I'm just like my hand turned in the
Flat
feet
hands.
on the yeah. My hands are feet on the video. Um. Anyways, it's probably more of like a confidence, like I know I'm in control thing. It kind of feels like when my feet have to move from one pedal to the other, even though that like transition will be very quick. There's like a moment where I'm like I don't have the ability to touch, and it's probably all like 100% mental. Uh, but anyways, the car, what me and Dave were talking about was like in order to create a good lap time, it was trying to get to warp speed as fast as possible. So if we delayed the exit at all, like if we were just like if the car was like kind of skating out to the edge of the track, and then we could go to like warp speed after that. Well, you think about the car lengths you just lost to the car that got to warp speed before they got to the edge of the racetrack, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was like kind of what we were playing with. The video that I posted, that's on my YouTube, and I posted it in the Discord. That just happened to be my only clean lap of the weekend. So that's like why it was the fastest time or whatever. But
Yeah.
my optimal was like a low 54, which was 2 seconds faster than that lap. The lap that I posted was like 6 laps in. They had a black flag, and I passed like 30 cars before I finally got that like clean lap.
Yeah. I will say from that video, the car doesn't look very good, and I think it's because the tires looked really bad. Because it could not get out of its own way.
We were on VTORs, and they were heavily heat cycled and basically dead. Like,
yeah, gotcha.
Right after that session, Dave went out and he just did a couple laps, and he came back and he's like, the rear of the car is dead. Like the rear wants to be the front or something along those lines. Cause like, and it was during that session is where it kind of just felt like it jumped off a cliff. And then the
Yeah.
rear tires just like didn't want to do anything. And obviously on that car, the rear tires are doing a lot of work, right? Like you're
Yeah.
accelerating more than a G for a large chunk of the mile per hour acceleration curve. So the rear tires are doing a lot of work there, and that lap was like, I don't know, like I was on pace for my 54 when we got black flagged, and then just all the cars that I had to pass because I was literally I was at a point where I couldn't just back up because I looked there was like 10 cars behind me, and then there was like 30 or 20 cars or whatever. The rest of the group was in front of me. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to pass like half of these cars on the straightaway. Right. But,
Yeah.
uh, but people, it turns out like all your momentum stops when one person doesn't notice this rocket ship behind them. So you don't get to
Yeah.
pass as many cars as you want. So, and I also was taking Peter out for a ride, and Peter Lear was there, famous man who gave me a free race car. And Peter sat in the passenger seat, and if you watch the video, you can kind of see his hand. And the only time I saw his hand tense up a little bit was when we were going into roller coaster on the back straight. The rest of the time, he's just sitting there perfectly calm. You see his hand nice and loose on the middle handle. It's a complete trust for whatever reason. Peter has complete trust. But even when we went for a little bit of a slide out of turn one, because I was trying to get to warp speed a little too quickly. And yeah, it's just I was giving Peter out a joyride, and that ended up being like my only clean lap of the weekend. So
Sure.
I know like a 56.0 with 1,000 horsepower is not like impressive, but like that was the time. I could have posted some other laps where I sat behind cars for a long time, but like it's like whatever. I have to post a lap, so this is the one that comes up.
Was that your first chin event?
No, I've been to some of those before. It's always just like way too busy. And you know what? I will say that most of the people are really good with point buys. I just think that having a proper point buy for this car is really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Were there any other challenges that popped up going that quickly? I'm trying to think of, so there were a lot of there were a lot of Discord chatter after you posted that video around when you were driving the car and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine how much like power or what that would feel like, or holy, they see the top speeds. You've gone 15 miles an hour faster now than I've ever gone. So what popped up as this is, even though you've driven fast cars, like a totally different level of, it's almost like worse in some ways than a lot of what you've driven because of those like the dead tires and everything. And
So there was like some oddities with the Corvette. So we ran it in race 2, which is the mode before like everything's like fully off. And from what I was bugging some GM engineers, and so was Dave, and from what we understand is everything off is like not a good idea because of like the whoosh of the turbos. Like you would have to like preemptively be like pulling out a throttle for when the turbos like come in to like keep the rear under, like you need some TC.
Yeah.
But the thing is like and I was trying to figure out a way to turn it off. If the wheels turned when you put the pedal down, like the throttle, it's like a torque request. And then when the wheels turned, it limits the amount of torque that can actually go to so you'll have the wheel turn and you're like, I'm ready to leave this corner, and you want to get the outside rear like at the limit of adhesion, and you'll get in the throttle and you're like, come on. So you're feeding in throttle and you're like, what's happening? Why aren't we going? And then you'll be at the edge of the racetrack or whatever, and then you'll like straighten up the wheel, and now you get whoosh because it like if you had the wheel turned, it would limit the possible amount of torque. Even in the lowest traction control, like everything else is off, it would do that, and there wasn't a way around it unless you turned everything off. And I wasn't brave or stupid enough to like try the everything off mode. I kind of just believed the engineers that built the car essentially of what was like recommended. And I even brought up the steering wheel thing to them. I was like, is there a way to turn that off? Because like it's impacting the potential lap time that could happen. And no,
wait, who's them?
There's no way.
Were there engineers there?
No, Chris Drum was there, and he called one of the guys that like did all the calibration on the DC and stuff.
Cool. Okay.
So we were chatting. I think his name was Dave. different Dave, but his name was also Dave. That's why I remember it, because I was like, this is easy. Um,
Right.
but in terms of like unique challenges, just like nailing down the the consistency of the brake markers. In iRacing, you'll get into the brakes like a little soft to kind of like open the window for like exactly like how much momentum you have down to the apex on the corner. Like you don't just like bam into the brakes.
Wait, what? Say again?
I'm not going to be able to explain this on a Monday dopamine hangover brain. But instead of just
give it
like
a shot.
instead like because you're moving so fast and it's pretty tough to be like 100% accurate on the brake marker. Like if you miss it by like if it's normally front bumper and by the time the brakes like actually grab the rotor, it's actually rear bumper because that was like a half a tenth later. Not even a half a tenth. It's probably even less time than that at the speeds. You just missed the apex by like half of the racetrack, right?
Yeah. So got it.
So you you get into the brakes. It's not like a wham. It's it's not like a slow ramp into the brakes, but it's slow enough to give you like a window of to make up for whatever potential uh, inconsistency that the car had or whatever coming into that brake zone.
In other words, you're adding buffer to before when you want the brake to bite, so that you actually get when the brake bites right.
I can increase or I can increase pressure a little slower or a little faster to maximize like the correct amount of momentum at apex.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just giving yourself a little bit more window than you normally would.
And this is like tense difference of like brake ramp up pressure, but like you kind of have a sense for what that feels like when you like immediately get into the brakes. You're like, did they grab like right when I expected them to? Like, did they grab like right as I got into the pedal and stuff like that? And it's brake by wire. I don't know if it like keeps the pads to the rotor or whatever. But I would give it, when you're going 180 or whatever, I would give it a little left foot couple like tappy tap because I don't know if pad knockback's a thing and I don't want to find out it's a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. I know when the NSX was being developed, remember how it was delayed by like it was supposed to come out and then it was like almost 4 years and then it finally came out.
Yeah.
My understanding is that some of or maybe all of that issue was around the brake by wire system and it didn't register for track driving if the pads were getting low or hot or whatever, and they ended up having like a massive crash in one of them and had to like rethink that system. That was one of the things that delayed it.
Yeah.
Because that would be terrifying. You're braking by wire. You're not interacting with the brakes at all.
At all.
And all of a sudden there's no warning that they're not going to be there on like a normal system.
I think the Corvette will give you like a brake temp warning something or.
Yeah, that's what the NSX does.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like because it's like it's like some kind of mechanized. It's still like moving a master cylinder in the brake system, I'm assuming. So it knows like what the travel of that is. And if it's like, if the pedal's like quote unquote going long, then it probably has some kind of sensor to warn that. I'm speaking completely out of my ass right now. I'm sure there's some GM engineer yelling at his windshield as he's listening to the podcast driving down the road. But
this is so complex. Carlton doesn't even know. Otherwise he would tell us.
Oh, I know, but this is way too entertaining. Listen to you guys fumble this up.
All right. Well, thanks for your help, Carlton. That was no good.
Yeah.
But dealing with
your point about.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say dealing with the steering wheel like angle thing. That was like a fun little mini game to try to figure out like before you went to warp speed.
Yeah.
Like it was like an oddity that I haven't had to like deal with in a car before, but it was like part of this thing.
That's funny so I had a similar experience with my TCA car back when in 2016 when that Turbo Civic was coming out, before it was even out and whatever, we were developing it for the race car, and on the torque request side for the car, when you requested throttle position was torque request, so you put the pedal all the way down, you request 100% torque or even 70, 50, whatever, and then you're mid corner, you're picking up throttle, and then you lift, it would reset the request to 0, and there was a 1 second delay built into the turbo request or the boost request.
Oh, gross.
In the system. So as you're driving the car on track, you would be tipping in the throttle, especially long sweepers, whatever. If you're not perfect on your throttle position and you lift, it resets the request to 0, which delays the boost another full second before it starts to come back.
Yeah.
So we did the entire 2016 Thunderhill 25 hour that way. And it was a really fun challenge to like, I cannot lift. Like, it was faster to stay in the throttle at partial throttle and let the car come back to you than it was to lift and try to like create that little pivot.
So that would be
because
hard
the
to break
boost
that
request
muscle
would
memory.
reset.
That would be really
Exactly,
hard.
but
Yeah.
I think these little challenges are actually really fun. That's what's part of the like the magic of getting to drive all different types of cars.
Yeah, definitely. And I've never had to deal with something like that before, so it was fun to build in that like I don't know, to start working on whatever that muscle memory might look like, cuz I'm sure this is going to be a thing wherever motorsports goes, like even like electric cars, whatever, where like cars are going to pay attention to the steering wheel angle, and they're going to limit torque based on the steering wheel angle.
So would that would have gone away if you take all the driving aids off?
I think so.
Okay. Interesting.
I never tried it. I wasn't
You're
about
right
to.
though. There will be ways we can't even imagine that they're going to find ways to like integrate two things to get a little bit better performance or safer performance. It's probably a better way to put it, because they're just trying to make it more drivable.
Yeah.
But I think your point about like the getting to warp speed as fast as possible is interesting, because it almost becomes a game of cutting distance on a racetrack the way you do on autocross.
Yeah,
courses
me and
to
Dave
create
literally had this
straightaways.
conversation. So
Right.
I think
Go
my
ahead.
approach in hog pen all weekend was wrong. I should have like dove into it, like cut distance, and then got the wheel straight so I could like actually drive out of it. And what I did like the whole weekend was like a normal hog pen line, but because of the steering wheel thing and not giving me full torque, it felt like
Yeah.
I was a little underdriven every single time I was leaving hog pen. But if you watch the car and driver lap, he dives in there like straight, is so tight that it would be a mistake in any other car, but he's able to get the wheel straight sooner, so he gets the warp speed sooner. It's like you kind of have to drive the car pretty radically different than you would in other ways, in kind of interesting ways. I was literally thinking, Tom, while trying to figure out the car and the car on that track this weekend, I'm like, this is like the stuff that Tom's really good at. Like, he would be like, because you have that internal timer, right, where you're like, oh, I need to get the warp speed as fast as possible. How do I get to that point, right? And you would problem solve that like super well. So like you weren't even driving it, and I had the same conclusion where it's like, oh, distance, like will help the wheels, but you had that conclusion just talking about it. I had it in reflection driving home, looking out my windshield.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. I don't know where that comes from with me, to having to like have comprehended that so clearly.
Yeah.
That thing. But to me, it's not like because I feel time better or something. I know we've talked about that, but it's more like, what does the car do the best? Where is the car making the most time? And it's kind of just you could boil it down to like under power, straight line speed, or cornering, but it's way more complex than that. And if it does boil down to being that simple, though, I think. So if the car is always faster just going in a straight line than it is in any amount of cornering, then you do essentially what we're talking about, is cut all the distance out of everything so that you spend the smallest amount of time cornering as possible, because that is the weakest point of a car that can go 190 miles an hour and has really good brakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are maybe other cars, like probably not current ones, but older ones, that probably were really, really fast in a straight line. Like, I'm talking like 30s pre-war cars, right? They were so fast in a straight line. They were doing 200 miles an hour.
Else. Yeah.
But they couldn't brake. So they had to do things that they could not slow down. They had to do things to drive. I bet they even cornered kind of okay back then, but like they wouldn't slow down.
Yeah.
So you would do something different. I think that's fun. But what was I going with that? Something with the cut of distance. Yeah, I lost it.
It's
Whatever.
gone.
I had a
It's
point
forever.
to that, but
damn,
good talk. Yeah.
You guys are about to get a gold nugget from the podcast, and now it's gone forever.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to point out that Raul called it the point and shoot method. Yes. You ever hear someone say point and shoot and you didn't connect these two?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. You're just trying to get to
You're
the
minimizing
point.
cornering time.
Yeah, you're trying to get to the point where you can exit the corner as fast as possible.
Taylor says, growing up on Gran Turismo, when you can drive 100 cars a night, you create that matrix naturally.
I agree.
I believe that.
Yep, 100%. 100%. I think that's like probably the greatest thing with sim racing is you get to. I like it being called a matrix, but like to me, it's like my driving algorithm. It's like how do you create speed in this car? Okay, well, how does the things that you learned to that car apply to this other car? And you know, eventually you get this like repertoire of experience of making lap times in all these different cars. That's why I always say when you're trying to learn a track on sim, don't pick the car that's as closest to whatever you're actually going to drive there because it's going to be different no matter how amazing that sim is. So just drive a ton of different cars. So when you get to the thing in the real world, you're just learning the track in just one more car.
Yep. Pat said, when in doubt, throttle out. Not sure that was the moral of this, but go for it.
Let us know how
And
that
Anthony,
works out,
actually,
Pat.
Anthony said, I think calling your car a point and shoot car is typically an excuse.
I agree.
Which is an interesting point. So unless you're in a C8 ZR1, you can't say your car's point shoot. No, I'm kidding.
I will say so. Peter threw me the keys to the GT3 RS. It's the engine's back in it, and he was there having a great time. It was on the new Bridgestones. They felt fine. I don't know. I'm not a good tire reviewer, at least a subjective tire reviewer.
If you can close your eyes and forget that you knew what they were, would they have felt the same? You're like, oh yeah, these are Bridgestones.
They felt a little sharper, but okay. I don't know if that's because so the ZR1. So like, okay, now we're getting into the driving characteristics of a ZR1 to a GT3 RS. Okay,
what a problem.
So get your notes out, everyone.
He's rolling his sleeves up, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you see my Facebook story? I was like, Peter threw me the keys to remind me what a slow car is like, and then I like turned my camera and it's a GT3 RS behind me, which is like such an
Facebook anymore.
Oh, that's such an asinine, like stupid comment I made.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but actually, functionally, which one was faster?
Oh, the ZR1 was a rocket ship compared. This is how fast the ZR1 was. Is the GT3
on the lap time?
The GT3 RS felt slow in comparison.
Yeah, but lap time.
I never got a clean lap in the RS, but my optimal was like a low 59. So, and
okay.
my optimal, my optimal in the ZR1 was a 54.
Okay.
So
anyway, you drove both. You were going to tell me.
I drove both, and if you ever want additional bandwidth for a GT3 RS, you just go drive a ZR1 for like a weekend. I felt like I had, like when you jump out of like a faster car and then you jump into a Miata and you just have all this free time to think about stuff on the straightaways.
Yeah.
The ZR1 made the GT3 RS feel like that. That's kind of crazy, cool. Isn't it?
It is kind of crazy. I mean, when you think about it, was literally essentially 30 miles an hour faster on the straights than the Porsche, right?
That's such a crazy number, yeah. But here's the caveat to this, and I hope I'm not breaking new ZR1 owners' hearts everywhere. I think the GT3 RS was more fun to drive.
I could see that.
It felt more tossable. It felt more raw because for one, it didn't have that steering wheel angle sensor thing, which like I get it. 1,000 horsepower, you need something so people don't murder themselves. But like the GT3 RS, I don't know, it felt more race car than the 1,000 horsepower like missile somehow. I don't know. It just felt sharper, like turn in. It felt easier to and like more predictable to have sliding around and at the limit.
Do you know what the weight difference is? Bill just asked.
I think the GT3 RS is like 31, and then the ZR1 is 36.
Those both sound low. I'm going to Google it. I trust you, but I'm going to Google it.
I'm pretty sure that's it. So, have somebody else Google
it. What's it, 2023 GT3 RS?
Somebody else will Google it. Somebody in the chat, please Google it, please.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So don't look up the ZR1X. Look up just the regular ZR1 because the ZR1X is 400 pounds heavier.
3670. Dang, yeah, those are both lighter than I thought they would be. In our SCCA broadcasts, we call the YouTube live chat our associate producers.
Nice.
Because they give us information and what.
I like that.
That's what y'all are. Our live audience of 25 associate producers.
But
okay.
But yeah, I had
I'm actually surprised that it's that light.
I had a great weekend, Tom, and I'll tell you what, Going from 188 miles per hour to computer screen is the biggest whiplash I think I've ever had. Today was a rough day at
Yeah.
work. My brain didn't want to brain on anything.
Also, you just like want to. You just did like this coolest thing of your life. Top a number of things. If
Yeah.
you get to like flashback and no one else knows about it when you're at work the next day. But you can't just be like, "Guess what I did this weekend?" to everybody you see. But you want to. You're like, "I was so like when I remember when I had normal jobs and I would go back to my job at the cart track on Monday, and like I had won or something, and I wanted to tell everyone like I had this
know, I
weekend,
felt that. I felt
you
that
have
all
that buzz,
day.
and no one cares.
I
No
felt
one's
that all
they
day.
don't know
Nobody
what
cared.
it is.
I posted my YouTube video in the chat, and I got some like thumbs up. That was it. Like I was like, guys, do you not understand like how cool this was?
No.
Like how often? Look, and maybe the ZR1 won't be I'm telling you right now, ZR1 will not be the fastest production car in the world forever. But in this moment in time, that car is the fastest production car in the world. And I got to drive it. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, one of one.
Yeah. Well,
even probably.
apparently, it's one of 120 that's in the country. So it actually is pretty rare. So the ZR1 with the track package, like with the ZTK brakes or whatever, it's just one of 120. There was another ZR1 there, but it didn't have the track package, which apparently all the calibrations and spring rates and everything is like different or whatever.
It's kind of wild they make both options.
It's kind of wild that they have like multiple SKUs of ZR1s. I learned in my research about this car before I went and drove it that the ABS calibration is different depending on what tire it got from factory. So if it was on like the Supercar Cup 3, Cup 2Rs or whatever, it got a different ABS calibration than if it came on whatever other tire comes on that car.
That is wild, but I'm okay with it because it keeps Ryan Christoph fed, housed, and racing.
Yeah. Okay.
And he deserves it.
One last thing
Hey,
about
Ryan.
the ZR1, unless people in the audience have questions, because I've been dying to talk about this thing all day, guys, and I've had to do boring work stuff. I've never had to have a reference at turn 0 at VIR.
Okay, what was it?
Well, it was just I had an angle. Did you know there's an inside curbing right before the start finish line at VIR?
Yep.
Well, I had to apex just before that, like just before, and if I apex any earlier, then I would have to lift. So like I knew where I had to end up on the inside of the racetrack to still have track after turn 0. And it literally doesn't even have a turn number because it's not really a turn unless you're going 170 past it.
Yeah. That, I think, you know how I've always said VIR is kind of boring for me?
You need a 1,000 horsepower car to make it fun?
Yeah, I need to experience that so I can stop saying VIR is a little boring. That's so cool though.
It was so cool.
Life. This is so cool.
It was so cool. And you know what? It wasn't even like ZR. It had a race seat with a harness and everything. So like it was like you take a ZR1 from like factory and you're like, what could make this better? The answer to any Corvette is a seat with belts, right? Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the Corvette is. That's always going to be the answer. So this was peak ZR1 Corvette because it had a seat and harnesses, and the seat fit me, and I wasn't sitting too low. I didn't even have to use any pads. It's like Dave fit me into the car. Like it was perfect. Normally when you're driving other people's cars, there's always like you can never get it just right because it's not your car. It's never perfect, right?
Yeah.
This was like perfect.
It doesn't have a cage or a bar in it at all, right?
Dave put a harness bar in it.
There's a harness bar in it. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, there's no cage or anything.
Gotcha. I was thinking about how Salil got his car and he got a cage for it almost right away, and it goes like straight back to the dealership and they put the cage in.
Well, it's not a cage. It's just like the roll bar. It's the harness bar.
No. There's a back like a half cage behind. That's like a standard Porsche thing.
Yeah.
to do to your GT3. I'm sure Peters has that back there,
It
right?
does. It does. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It just dawned on me that you can't do that in a Corvette.
But it has the same thing. It just doesn't go back into the car because the engine's like immediately behind you. Like there is no back
Yeah.
into the car, but there is a bar that's behind the seat that is like a quote unquote roll bar. I don't think it would do anything to really protect you all that much in a crash. I think you would just be kind of toast. And it just connects the seatbelts to it.
Hi, Christine. Hi, DJ's parents.
Look, I don't care what the car's made out of. If you're going 188 and something bad happens, like
Yeah.
I think we would have the catch fence in between the braking zone and the back straight and the rest of roller coaster would have like caught us. That would have taken a decent amount of momentum out. But after that, I don't know what would have happened.
Well, that's why they designed it that way, because it was basically a runway. And they kept having cars, not like all the time, but they kept having cars go into the trees.
Yep.
At the runoffs, there was this Pontiac Solstice, like a Touring 2 Pontiac Solstice GXP, which is not a fast car. Made it like multiple trees down that. It was just like hung in the trees, and they had to leave it there till the end of the day.
That's crazy. It's
like that's how fast it was, probably going 140 maybe.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of momentum behind the car when you're going pretty quick. So
yeah,
Ryan in the chat goes DJ strapping his belts and then puts in quotations, have I had enough sour cream in one lifetime? I hope so. You can never have enough sour cream. So that answer to that is no. That's why I kept breaking at the
live
4.
your life, because you'll never know when your last dollop is.
Yeah. I want that to be a shirt. Oh my God. So yeah,
How long have we been going? Should we answer any questions? I loved hearing it. Well, I guess I should ask anything else from the week end that.
No, that was basically it. Yep. Thank you to Dave for just giving me the opportunity to drive something just outrageously bonkers. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of how I drove. Not a wheel. I didn't dip a wheel wrong. I did exactly what I went there to do, and yeah. So I'm happy with myself. I wish I could have recorded a faster lap, but it's hard to really put together a lap at a really sold out HPDE. So
Right.
there was a ton of people there. The paddock was full from a track day, Tom.
I'm not surprised. I would bet. I mean, obviously, more people do track days than race, for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to ask something about. Are you guys? Are any of you or them doing any of the practice for one lap? Because I'm going testing in a month and a half, I think, with Salil. Maybe he'll be there. Maybe I'll get to drive it. Oh, no pressure, David. No pressure. But
maybe
that'd be cool. We're going to Hastings. We're going to Hallett.
You might be.
And we're still going to I-29, even though it's not on the calendar because it's lapping.
Yeah.
I paid for it.
I know Dave's doing recon. At the moment, the only recon that is like tentatively planned is a track night in America at Blackhawk Farms, which I think all of one lap is going to be there from what it sounds like. This is going to be the most bonkers track night in America you've ever seen.
Dude, I kind of wish we're hosting a track day. I don't know if I shared this. We're hosting an ASM Events track day in May at Blackhawk Farms. It's a Friday, Saturday. So it's a 2-day, and we're going to have standing start, time attack plus lapping. It's already been announced. It's on Motorsports Reg. But either way, I was talking to Blackhawk for renting the track for that event, and the Thursday before one lap was available. And Andy and I were going back and forth on whether we should rent it for that day and then try to get one lappers to come out and test and then obviously do like if you're in Chicago or whatever, you can come do lapping as well.
Yeah.
And we agreed like the money just didn't make sense because it was like 19 grand for the day or something. No,
yeah.
14 for the day.
For like a weekday?
Which is just like for a weekday. But I know track night gets deals because it's only half the day.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the tracks they go to, even if they're expensive, they've gotten a deal because they're SCCA and they're pretty good at negotiating, whatever else.
Yep.
They're not paying full price for a whole day just to do those 4 hours. But we would have been. And it was like, man, even if we get 31 lappers out, that's still like a lot of money.
Yeah.
To divide across a $13,000 rental. So we didn't do it. But now that's they're all going to go to track night now because why not? Of
Well,
course.
I think that's one of the only options to get on the racetrack. It's always a little tough to get on the tracks that are a little farther north.
Yeah.
Decent time before one lap. Like I think Road America has something, but it's like literally the week before one lap.
Sure. Yeah, they host their own track days.
Yeah.
But they don't open until April. So yeah,
But
you get 1 month.
I actually don't have any recon planned at the moment. I'm going to be having to learn everything in Assetto Corsa and then show up and do my best. So I'm going to be doing it the old Andy Smedgard style over here.
You're giving him a lot of credit practicing in Assetto Corsa.
He did. He
does a little now.
I asked him because he did when one lap last year at VIR. I found out that that was the first time Andy ever went to VIR. And I was thinking, VIR is a pretty intimidating racetrack in a fast car to like not know where the corners go. So I asked him, like, did you like play it in Assetto or iRacing or anything? And he said, I believe he said that he loaded it up in Assetto. I was like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense now. I wasn't sure if like Andy's out here with like a track map on a steering wheel and then we go this way. And then, you know, like that would be so hard. You have to at least kind of know which way the track goes if you're doing one lap. I know there's plenty of people that show up to these racetracks and they're like probably like watching it on the drive there, like trying to like figure out which way the turns go. But that sounds really stressful and not all that great for your competitive like placing.
Right.
So
I will say for one lap this year, there are three cars I'm particularly interested in seeing. The first one is a 1977 Ford LTD Country Squire wagon.
Okay.
Which is a wood paneled wagon from the 70s.
Hopefully it has different
There is
brakes.
also a 1963 AMC Rambler Ambassador, which is like a 60s little sedan, like muscle car looking thing. And there's also a Renault Alpine A110 registered, like the new one that we can't buy here.
Oh, that's
I think that'll be
interesting.
kind of cool.
Who's driving that?
But I mostly want to see the Woody and the what are they? They're called Woodies, right? When they have wood paneling.
Yeah.
And the other thing. It is two people from Texas who I don't recognize. And they're sponsored in a Renault Alpine by Amarillo Porsche.
Okay.
I'll see it when I believe it.
I think one lap this year is going to be incredibly interesting because I think Dave and Mike are going to be really competitive in the ZR1. Obviously, you and Salil are going to be competitive. I don't know if you guys have said what you're driving yet, but I think it's the worst kept secret ever.
Probably.
I
honestly don't know if he's told people yet either, so I'm scared to say it and like blow the cover.
Yeah, we can't say it.
But
I
think
say it. Don't
if
say
you've
it.
heard what it is that. Yeah.
It is that. Yeah. Which I'm sorry to everyone listening to this right now, but like, yeah, it's not ours to say. You can have Chris Mayfield in that Lotus that you drove at Solo Nationals last year. And I don't think anybody's going to touch Chris at High Plains. Like his lap time was actually pretty ridiculous if you watch that video.
I think that car's the car. I think that's the car to beat on track, on pace.
Yeah, especially like in the hands of Chris. And I think Chris is driving with Julian, and Julian's no slouch either. So I think that's going to be like a really, really tough team. I think I'm a little bit of a wild card if that RX-8 like makes it and is like well sorted ish. It's still a tub. It doesn't even have an engine yet, so like I'm fingers crossed, Tom. I don't know. It might be the most rowdy, like broken, like in a competition way, like in a good way, car ever.
Yeah.
Because it should be faster than Super K. I know Super K has like a lot of development, but like horsepower to weight and tire that it can fit with the aero that it can have, like it should be like Super K but with more power.
I know, but I hope you're right.
I hope
you're right. I think the reality is it's a miracle if you're in South Bend. Because the car's not already assembled. And if it's there and the miracle happens, a time attack car takes like 3 to 5 years.
I know.
To get.
I know.
So,
I got fingers crossed. I got
yeah.
high low expectations.
Low expectations.
Yep. So we'll see.
Wise man once said.
Whatever happens, it's going to be a very interesting one lap for me. I could just end up like getting on a flight and going back home.
Yeah.
And trying to recoup some vacation days. I don't know. So, but it should be really interesting. And I'm sure there's some really fast drivers and cars that I haven't thought of. But yeah, one lap's gonna be pretty interesting this year. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have to make sure that we record it like we did in 2024. Yeah,
For sure.
because it's gonna be fun to follow.
Yep. Raul said, how did ASM do at Barber, by the way? They broke an axle day 1 and they broke a throttle body day 2. So pour one out for them. Because it wasn't the best weekend.
God,
but they
cars are
were
the
the
worst.
fastest car. They were winning both days when they broke.
Who was all driving? Andy, Alex.
Alex. It was Alex's K-swapped S2000 that he raced in GLGT last year.
With the paddles.
And Robert Thorne and Aaron Lichty.
Oh, that's a stacked team.
Stacked.
That is super stacked.
I Aspire, so that's typically their group, and they've had Pete race with them, they've had Zach race with them, but it's that group of 4 is kind of their core. Matt's raced with them, Waldbaum. But I want to race with that group someday so bad.
Yeah, same.
And I can't afford to, and they divide costs, and like it costs money to race, so I get it, but I want to race with them so bad someday.
Yeah, maybe I'll save my pennies and see if I can like be a sub or something. I don't know. I feel like WRL's a little too expensive for what I'd be able to afford. I can't even afford a champ car seat, let's be honest. So that's like this is wishful thinking. I might be doing a champ car race at Watkins Glen though, Tom.
You're finally gonna get to drive with the Glen.
I'm trying for it. I don't know if Watkins Glen.
Knock on wood.
Watkins Glen is the track that will be picked, but I will be doing a champ car race at some point this year.
I can't wait to say I told you so. Ooh, I'm so excited for that
it's
day.
Fun? I know it's going to be fun. If it's anything, so like here's the running thing. If you guys are just like tuning into the last like 40 episodes and you haven't listened to all of them.
He's DJ, I'm Tom.
Yeah, welcome to Lizard Brains podcast. I thought Lime Rock was boring, and then I drove it in real life, and Tom was like, no, it's boring in iRacing, but you got to drive it in real life. I drove it in real life. Lime Rock's freaking awesome. I love it. Watkins Glen, I think it's boring in iRacing. Tom's like, you got to drive in real life. You love it. And after my Lime Rock experience, I believe you. I just have to get to the racetrack.
Yep.
So
I can't wait for that.
We'll see.
Whoever this team is, go to the Glen.
Go to the Glen.
What kind of car is it? You don't have to say specifically, but is it fast or slow in a straight line?
It's a Boxer. I don't know. Like, are those fast or slow in straight lines?
Yeah, you'd be entertained enough.
Okay.
All
right.
Hope that happens. Glad we established that.
Yes.
I'm going to guess we've been going for like at least an hour and 15, right?
Hour and 7.
You want to answer a question?
Yeah, sure. Let's do one. I want to answer my question. I submitted my own question to the podcast.
Okay, let's start with that one.
Emails. All right, so DJ Alessandrini writes in, soft and mushy or crunchy? What's your
Follow-up
preference?
question. Explain yourself.
What's your preference?
My preference is soft and mushy with a little bit of crunchy in it.
You
that
have
allowed?
to pick one. You have to pick one.
Then crunchy.
Yeah, I'm crunchy too. So there was people at the racetrack that preferred soft and mushy, and I was like, that is.
Well, you were hanging out with a bunch of old guys.
Oh my God. Tom's never driving the ZR1.
Got him. Hi, David. Hi, Peter. Hi, everyone else who was there. I don't know who was even there.
You were so close to experiencing 1,000 horsepower, Tom, but not anymore, man. You blew it.
How did this come about? You still need to explain yourself.
It was just food. Talking about food.
Okay.
So, like, would you prefer something that, like, for instance, okay, when you pour a bowl of cereal, do you wait for it to, like, sog up a little bit, or is it like a race against time?
See, no, it's not a race against time, but I like both. You get that whole experience. It takes you on a journey. It starts off. The milk needs to be cold milk, and then it starts off really crunchy with the cold milk, and by the end, the milk is still a little bit cold enough, and then it's a little mushy. You get to drink the milk at the end. It's not warm, gross milk. It's still enjoyable. There's a whole thing.
I can't drink milk
Everyone knows
anymore.
this.
I can't drink milk anymore. Once you get separated from
this chat wakes up every time we talk about food. Sorry, go ahead.
Once you get used to like almond milk or oat milk or whatever, and you go back to normal milk, it's like sweet and sour and thick, and it's just like it's kind of gross once you like don't drink milk. I think as children, we were all tricked by the dairy industry to like consume milk, and we actually don't need milk on any capacity, and we got used to it. But I don't think it's actually good in any capacity.
The level to which it's part of our diet is like proven to not be necessarily a great idea.
Now cheese,
But I'm with you. I like me some good, like a good Silk, the almond milk one, where it's really, but it's sweetened and stuff and whatever. So that's why it's good, of course.
Apparently, this is an unpopular opinion I have, that almond milk is superior to regular milk, because this is gaining
You
some
lost me at
traction
oat
in the
milk.
chat. Oat milk's
That's
fine.
nasty. Ooh.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'll take oat milk if I'm at like a cafe that feels like a little bit like
Bougie.
hip and cool, and I'm gonna get a
yeah.
little bit of a weird drink and it has oat milk in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just drinking oat milk is diabolical.
I don't just drink almond milk or oat milk. It just holds my cereal. That's the only reason it exists. I'm not pouring a glass of like almond milk or oat milk. I'll just drink water. Like I don't.
Right.
But I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna eat my cereal in water. Like that sounds crazy. I need something.
This question, follow-up question, comes from Tom O'Gorman. The question is, what is your cereal of choice?
Does it need to be healthy, or is it like my favorite?
Well, what's in your pantry?
Well, normally what's in my pantry is like some Kashi something, just because it's like filling and it like fills me up.
Oh, okay.
So like like the little wheat square things. I try to get like the not sugary one, so like the cinnamon one is like pretty good. I like that. But if I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm getting whatever. Count Chocula, my man. Oh my God, Count Chocula is incredible. I can't even believe. I can't believe they market that as breakfast. That is just straight dessert.
It's true.
Yeah, it's good though. Or
my mind went.
Or Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Sometimes, Count Chocula is only certain parts of the year. So if I want like dessert for like cereal, I go Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's pretty good too.
Yeah. Mine's Reese's Puffs. Reese's Puffs.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good too. Because it gets it all chocolatey and like whatever your liquid of choice is, it's all chocolatey afterwards. Well, the chat is agreeing with you, Tom.
Yeah. My mind also went where Raul said, he said, damn, Kashi, that's like $9 a box.
It is. Well,
as soon as you said Kashi, I was like, damn, can't hide money. Kidding.
I get, look, if I'm having like a breakfast of champions, it's a little Greek yogurt, like, the little carton, little packet thing of it. It's like a small bowl of Kashi cereal. And if I'm feeling like, you know what, I need a real hearty breakfast, and I'll throw in some raisin bread too. And then I'm all good.
Oh, okay. I was going to say the other hot take, Raisin Bran.
Not Raisin Bran, Raisin Bread.
Yes, but my other, I'm with
okay.
you. Yeah, but my other go-to, I think I would pick Raisin Bran.
Yeah, if I'm feeling like I've spent a little too much recently, Raisin Bran. Yeah,
got it.
That's like the cheap Kashi. That's like the cheap Kashi alternative.
Yes,
yeah.
If you see, we know it's a recession indicator.
Yeah. It's like, look, that I spent a little too much money recently. If you see Raisin Bran in my cart and it's not like some Kashi squares or something.
Right.
Yeah. It's how I budget.
We're ridiculous.
I like food questions on the podcast, even if I ask them for myself.
When you asked your own question, I thought about whether I could make my own fake account and how long I could convince everyone that I'm just another person. That maybe they've never met, but I'm part of the community, and just ask my own questions.
I might, because I wanted to ask you on the podcast, but I was like, I'm gonna forget before we get to the podcast, so I'm just gonna write my own question. I think we might have opened up a little bit of a Pandora's box here, and I think we're gonna see more DJ and Tom questions more often. And it's mostly because I want to ask you, not because I want to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. So I
like that idea.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen, just so we remember to talk about the thing. There was a topic I wanted to talk about, but this one's already an hour and 15 minutes long. But did you see my text where I wanted to talk about Irrational Fear and Rational Fear?
I did. I'm curious to hear why you thought of that and where that came from and what how you would expand on that to be a whole topic. So we should definitely do that next week.
Well, that's a next week topic. So tune in next week for that, guys. What are you doing this weekend, Tom?
I'm commentating the Road Atlanta Super Tour Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It'll be live streamed on YouTube, on the SCCA YouTube channel. I kind of like the direction that the stream is going, that we started a bit. They've been doing it for years. I was on for like the third time at Button Willow, where we interact with the chat, and it's a little more informal, but it's still taken seriously. And it's always really fun when somebody I know pops up in the live chat too. So we're also racing in the time zone that we live in and not in Australia. So if you're going to watch the racing in Australia, you might as well watch the racing in Atlanta as well. I heard there's a big race in Australia this weekend.
I forgot about it until you brought it up.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's it. Yeah, I think we're on for like 8 hours a day, all 3 days.
Yeah, and if you're living under a rock, the big race in Australia is the first Formula One race. I think the first Formula One race of the year is going to be a little bit of a shit show because it seems like none of the teams have the powertrain thing figured out yet.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing like headlines, but I haven't clicked on any of the articles that there's like something wrong with the Honda power unit. So Aston's only going to do like a couple laps and then like pull in. So like they're not even really going to do the race. Have you seen that? Do you know what that's about?
I haven't heard it to be that extreme, but I know Aston Martin's been a laughing stock, and I'm fine with it because I think the Strolls, like, I don't like them. So I think they should go away, and
But
then they can have their goodwill back.
They got Adrian Newey and Fernando Alonso. Come on.
Which is perfect to know that even if you're just a meritless billionaire, you still can't buy the success that you want.
Wow.
That's how I feel. That's a little harsh, but that's how I feel. Because literally no one cares that kid is in that series. No one cares.
It is weird that Lance still has, I mean, I guess it's not weird, but it's, I feel like.
Did you see today? Let me prove my point.
Yeah.
Finish
your
thought. Sorry.
Well,
I'll say my thing.
I was going to say, I feel like Formula One having like an absolutely obviously paid seat is a little bit of a black eye for what the prestige that Formula One should hold.
First of all, did you see the clip? It was from like 2 years ago or something, but he was talking about Lance Stroll, that the super license is important because it keeps people out of buying their way into Formula One.
Oof.
Hilarious. Second of all, they just released their like get to know our grid, and I kind of clicked through it. Lance Stroll is both only in it once, and he was not present. It's a green screened in crop of his head. And he just goes with his little face, like, I'm Lance Stroll and I drive Formula One, and then he moves on.
So
he's never in it again. I'm like, he's not even trying.
He didn't even
no other Formula One driver can do that.
So I think they dish out fines to the teams if like the drivers don't participate in the contractual stuff like that. And they're probably just like, yeah, whatever, write the check.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Fernando's there. He's in person.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to pay the fine.
Green screen for the other one.
Yep.
Ryan says, didn't Colapinto buy in? I mean, technically they all bought in.
They all bought in.
I don't care that they bought in. I think it's just pathetic and terrible that he can be as mediocre and mid as he is and never have any consequences. It's boring and horrible.
Even the fastest drivers in that grid have sponsors that are like, if my driver isn't in there, my money disappears too. That exists like in all levels of motorsports.
Totally.
So because the drivers are making their own.
I didn't mean to go that hard, but I said what I said. I'll stand on all that. But yeah, I'm commentating. I am going to watch this race. I'm probably going to try to stay up and watch the Formula One race because I think it's going to be fascinating to watch. Just them try to figure it out in real time.
One spiel that I just want to wrap up the thought on the paid seats thing. Even if you're at the top of your game, it still makes sense for you to find sponsors that bring money to the team because it just solidifies your influence and your spot on the team. Like even Max Verstappen, I'm sure, has some sort of personal brand deals that are tied to Max Verstappen and not necessarily Red Bull that helps solidify his say, how much influence, what he can get away with, all these things within the team. Money is power, basically. And if you're the driver that can bring more money, then you have more influence in the team. And if you have more influence in the team, then more success for you.
Yep. I agree.
So.
What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to go hang out with family.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then I'll me and Christine are going for a hike on Sunday because we're going to Vegas the following, not the following weekend, the next weekend, and we really haven't hiked all that much, and we're gonna do a bunch of hiking in Vegas. So I don't know, we kind of need to get these little legs walking and doing stuff.
Yeah.
So the Vegas trip doesn't turn into us just like laying around in the hotel. So
You're gonna need sunscreen out there too. Your little cooped up white butts out in Vegas hiking.
are you kidding? I've gotten so much sun. I'm basically tan at this point. You see this bronze in the skin. But no, I always wear sunscreen just because I hate the feeling of the sun on me, which is maybe makes me part vampire. But here we are. So okay, but we got any other closing thoughts, Tom?
No, I had fun.
Cool.
Hope you had fun too.
Yeah, I did. What a fun episode. All right. We're going to send it out and hopefully Tom can hear the music. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yeah. And while you're watching the Formula One race this weekend, just remember, even though I said what I said, Lance Stroll, I love your hair and I hope you win. Kidding.